Oh boy, do we have some news to unpack? Meghan, the shining star, is catching some flack right now. Picture this. A royal expert recently chimed in, raising an eyebrow at Meghan's actions. She's accused of spreading falsehoods about the royal family during a really rough time. A time when the Queen, 94 years old and human like us all, was grappling with the impending loss of her husband. Wouldn't such actions kindle a lot of negativity? But you see, Meghan, she's quite the character, folks. She's a classic in her own right. The belle of the ball. They say she's a legend, at least in her own mind. Empathy? Well, it doesn't seem to be her strong suit. Others' feelings don't seem to matter much to her. Just ask her old college buddies. They claim she was a real piece of work, the epitome of the bad girl archetype. And then there's the recent controversy about her pregnancy. Is she or isn't she? But then again, these rumors could easily be put to rest by the truth, right? If only Meghan seemed more interested in truth than in rumors, than in having people talk about her. And it's honestly tiring. My friends, they're sick of it. If indeed those two babies are real, my heart goes out to them. They didn't sign up for this whirlwind, but hey, Meghan, she's mean, or so they say. And in today's society, it seems like we've got a soft spot for mean people like her. She's been known to treat those with less power rather poorly. The staff at Kensington Palace can testify to that. Stories about her throwing hot tea at people and demanding banana bread to be baked multiple times to meet her standards circulate. But it's not just about her, is it? It's reflective of a broader societal issue. It seems like we measure people's worth by their wealth, their physical appeal, and their talents. Well, the ones that can be sold, at least. Look at Jennifer Lopez. There are stories about her not deigning to speak to flight attendants because of her celebrity status. Or take their son, constantly flaunting his plush lifestyle, exorbitant possessions, and their litany of luxury homes. This is precisely why we see folks who are easy on the eyes launching successful careers as influencers. Our fascination with this type of persona extends to our leaders, too. Boris Johnson and Donald Trump aren't strangers to allegations of being bullies and fibbers. Yet, they've amassed a substantial following. Here's the thing, folks. Meghan Markle isn't just royalty. She's also rich. Pretty good at raking in the dough, if you will. Before Harry was even in the picture, Meghan was successful as an influencer. However, when it comes to charitable deeds, the story gets a bit murky. Last year, for instance, Meghan and Harry's track record of charity work was, well, not that impressive. But you know what they did do? They hired a fancy PR firm to trumpet their rare donation to the world as if they'd discovered a new planet. Self-promotion? Check. Boost to social status? Check. Back in the day, folks would have scoffed at such obvious self-promotion, the kind we see every day on social media now. In fact, people might have even called it conceited. Isn't it a bit scary how quickly things have changed? Suddenly, your yoga pose selfies from A to Z are not just normal, they're celebrated. Our culture today seems to be a cheerleader for narcissism. It doesn't just allow it, it actually encourages it. Meghan Markle is a prime example of this cultural shift. There are things happening in our world that are seriously concerning. Qualities like vanity, dishonesty, and selfishness, which were once seen as flaws, are now often considered just another strategy for success. The way Meghan Markle behaves, it's not frowned upon anymore. On the contrary, she receives heaps of admiration, praise, and fame for her actions. And she laps it all up. It's her fuel, filling the dark and empty pit where others might have a soul. There are people out there who view Meghan Markle as an extraordinary person, impressive even, but her narcissistic tendencies seem to prevent her from genuinely valuing their admiration. Instead, she despises them all. Meghan Markle is a master of disguises. Sometimes it's a mask of love, sometimes it's a mask of hate. This darker side, she tries to keep hidden from the public, but those who work closely with her, they know the score. They've walked this road and can vouch for it. From my perspective, Meghan Markle is not just a troubled soul, but a seriously disturbed one. She seems to be grappling with deep-seated issues, including mental health struggles. Let's delve a bit deeper, shall we? There's a cloud of darkness that hangs over Meghan, and it traces back to her parents. They essentially taught her to put herself first, always. You know, rules are great and all, but if they don't suit you, Why bother following them, right? At least, that's what it seems she was led to believe. Her father's influence, in particular, seems to have had a profound effect. Hollywood sets, with their stories of drugs, alcohol, and greed, were her playgrounds. This was no place for a little girl to grow up. Ideally, he should have had a sitter look after her. Better yet, perhaps Child Protection Services should have been involved. Because when you get down to it, isn't that a form of child abuse? And then there's her mother's influence. Tales of substance abuse, carefree love, and endless partying. Megan witnessed her mother's wild lifestyle firsthand. The parties, the relationships, the bending and breaking of rules. Megan's mom marched to the beat of her own drum, using any means necessary to get what she wanted. And guess what? She passed these life lessons on to her daughter. Perhaps a responsible nanny or babysitter would have been a wise choice. Or again, perhaps intervention by Child Protection Services would have been in order. It's all rather heartbreaking when you think about it. It seems like Meghan Markle was set on a particular path from the get-go. She had her parents as role models, and from them, she learned to see others as objects. She was taught that self-interest was paramount, the first rule of the game. Meghan was not a student of the light. She preferred the shadows. That's where she found her comfort. And then, let's consider Harry's perspective. Apparently, he's been waiting for his brother William to step up. Really now? What exactly does Harry think William has been putting off so he could be born early? It's a baffling concept. The two of them had parallel lives in many ways, blessed with privilege and a world of opportunities. Harry was never destined to be king, which opened up a different set of possibilities for him. And William? From the start, he gracefully shouldered the responsibilities and burdens that came his way. Let's talk about responsibility and accountability, my friends. Meghan seems to possess these qualities, much like her late grandmother, the remarkable Queen. The Queen not only dedicated herself to serving her people, but also managed to live a fulfilling life. She embraced happiness, humor, and found true love in a partner who understood the importance of her responsibilities and wholeheartedly supported her. Their love story was one of deep affection, and together they achieved a great sense of fulfillment. On the other hand, Harry had numerous examples in his life of purpose and dignity to follow. However, he chose a different path. Instead of drawing inspiration from his parents and grandparents, he wallowed in self-pity. He made a series of questionable decisions, and as some might argue, he wasn't exactly the sharpest tool in the shed. But let's not be too quick to judge solely based on intelligence. Intelligence alone doesn't define a person. Regardless of whether one is born into wealth or poverty, everyone has the potential to do good or evil. It's about the choices we make and the character we exhibit. Behavior is a matter of personal character, not simply circumstances. So here we have two brothers born into immense privilege. The older one, William, also carries the weight of greater responsibilities. The younger brother, Harry, theoretically has more freedom to choose his own path. And what does Harry choose? He seems to revel in making jabs, airing grievances, and hurling accusations through various public platforms. Meanwhile, William leads a wonderful life, gracefully assuming responsibility for his actions. The fact that Harry decided to adopt a loser's mentality, portraying himself as weak, defeated, and untruthful, cannot be blamed on his older brother. According to Harry, being born second means he can never possess qualities like character, decency, and responsibility simultaneously. But is that William's fault? Of course not. It's not William's fault that Harry has chosen to lead an empty and pitiful existence.